Alright, hello. My name is Christina. I still kind of suck at speaking, but we're just gonna keep doing this thing and hopefully get better as I go. Okay, so last time I wanted to kind of talk about how I kind of got away from worrying so much about money. And today I want to share a side that I think that, I just haven't really seen for most creators on YouTube. And it's kind of like, I've watched quite a few content creators who are in the self-help / self-improvement / self-actualization niche. And one thing that you don't really see much of is they talk about past experiences that they've struggled through, but they don't talk about present experiences that they're struggling through. I guess to kind of maintain this image that, your life will be so much better when you do this. It's practically not a problem anymore. And I mean, yeah, for some things, but I don't know. I feel like in my case, I always kind of have a ghost in the back of my head that's kind of hindering me with some things, like this. So when I say like this, I mean worrying about money. So here's what happened. As what happens in all businesses is I sell art, and I was having a really good few weeks where it was selling very well and prices were going for higher than I expected, and it was great. And I kept telling myself, okay, there's probably going to be a slump coming, so prepare yourself. But when you're in the moment, it's so difficult to actually really feel it. It's kind of like, at least for me, I think for other people too, when you're feeling really crappy about your situation, you can't really, it's hard to really, I guess, encompass, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not really manifest, but to just bring up the emotions that you would feel when you're feeling better. It's difficult, right? And I find for it's kind of the same in reverse too. When you're on a high of things going really well, it's hard to really take into account how it feels when, things take a turn for the worse. So, in my case, my art business, I've had 5 pieces or 4, in a row that did not get any sales at all. I tried a new thing and didn't get any interest on that at all. And I am not going to be the person who says, but I've let go of these mortal coil worries. I am no longer affected by, things such as not getting enough money. Yeah, that's not me at all. I've felt like crap over it. I was just really down in the dumps. And how did I feel during it? Well, I was just as melodramatic as I think anybody else would be in my situation. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this business anymore. What if I can't get out of this slump and it's just, fail after fail after fail, even though I can go to my gallery and I can clearly see the number of art pieces that I've sold in open, in an open to close ratio, where open is, still up for sale, and then closed is anything that has been sold or taken. I have like a 4-to-5 ratio or something like that of, my art pieces selling versus not. So like every 4 out of 5 pieces get sold, basically. And I can see that proof in front of me, but it's still, I'm still like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should make next. What if people don't like that either? And I mean, all you can really do is laugh at that point. And this is part of what I wanted to kind of touch on in this video, right? Is, besides obviously not being perfect with how I've improved with stuff, I want to emphasize that, like, it's okay to have these negative emotions. It's okay to be really fucking melodramatic about everything ending because, you've had a slump for a week or two. It's okay to, to just feel bad, because I feel like a lot of stuff these days really kind of pushes almost a little bit too hard on the positive aspect, almost a little bit into like positive toxicity. And honestly, I find in my personal experience that the more you are okay with whatever you are feeling, the less it has a hold on you, the faster you'll get past it. Which is tough, right? It's because, you obviously don't want to feel those things. You can, like, assess logically that, it's not realistic to feel like you're failing when you've just had, an off week or an off month or whatever. But it's, in my experience, it really is just okay to kind of do that, and to like, just take some time down, or even if you want to, like, and what I did is I was like, I have one of these clients that is one of my biggest supporters of my work, and I basically made an art piece that was tailored to them that I knew, like, pretty much without a doubt that they would buy, and that helped. It gave me some money. They were very happy with it, and it, like, the thing about being an artist for me is, like, I always want to just be able to sell whatever I make, right? I like to just have that freedom and inspiration. But sometimes it's okay to, like, fall back on something that's more reliable. So I guess moral of the story today is that there will be slumps, and especially in the beginning when you are trying to separate yourself from the importance of money, the emotions tend to be much stronger for much longer periods of time. So, like, in my case, instead of having this slump and just feeling bad for like a week or so, it can just kind of like hover over you in this cloud of dread, like, for, weeks or even months at a time. And, you just really got to be okay with having those feelings. Like, for what I do, that's one of the most helpful techniques for me is that I always remember that, I am not this strange being that works differently from other people. So if I'm having this problem, then other people probably also have the same problem. And I feel like that's really comforting, because it's like, oh, the motions that I'm going through aren't a result of me being, really melodramatic. They aren't a result of me somehow, being broken or anything. They're actually just really natural processes that a lot of people go through. And if it's a natural process, then I don't need to feel guilty about feeling this way. I don't need to be upset at myself for feeling this way. I don't need to be, I don't need to get hung up about wanting to take a break and, maybe just playing games for a while and not thinking about it. And it's so freeing when you do that, when you just stop hounding yourself for how you should be, because in reality, we're still just people. We're still, making mistakes. And let's be real, the number one scariest thing in the world, which is why people, I think, want money the most, is that life is not predictable and it's not controllable. And, people scramble for money because that kind of helps, cement some security. Like if you have money versus not, you're able to more reliably secure safety, shelter, food, water, all the essential things. So, and people are scared of not having that money because that means, not less security. They don't know what would happen if they didn't have money and no income. And then you kind of just get into this loop of just feeling really terrible about yourself. And, that's a real thing to be worried about, that, you would, when you got into that situation, you wouldn't be able to get yourself out of it because you'd be feeling so terrible emotionally and mentally that it just, it creates a real block. And people do get through it eventually, but it's still a valid worry. And I shouldn't say they get through it eventually. Some people obviously don't, but, so, yeah, basically moral of the story for me is, chill out, relax, and, do whatever I feel like I need to do to help myself, whether that's just push out some art, just to get some money, or to, do something else for a while. And just being okay when, these days do come around, which I'm sure it'll come around again. There's going to be another slump and I'm going to feel bad again. I'm still working on ways to kind of, float myself through those times, to, kind of provide, what's the word I'm looking for? Provide an emotional, safety net of sorts, for those bad times. I'm still working on that. But for now, I'm just, I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and that's just a result of me being human, being imperfect, and I'm okay with that. So I hope that this video helps someone. It sheds a little bit more light into how I kind of deal with these situations. And, still having these low days, even though I'm doing so much better than I'm doing so much better than I was like, just 2 years ago, because 2 years ago, my business hasn't even been open that long. So I actually had an income of 0 before that. So it's just kind of funny how you kind of adapt to your situation and still feel bad when you're not getting as much as you were 1 month ago, for example. So anyway, I think that's it for this time. A little bit of a shorter video this time because I went on so much on the previous video, and I'm gonna be trying to work on kind of controlling that rambling a little bit, and maybe like the ticks too, like and fillers and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me know what you think about any of that, I suppose. And yeah, I really hope this helps somebody out, and that, maybe it can bring some peace of mind to the mind that is worried about money. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.